Thanks for joining here. If you are joining in, this is Average Baddies with a few VVV members moved in, VVV Altex, and of course VVV Tsunami, formerly Icons of Vanity, recently picked up. Don't worry, I'm on it, man. And then we have them against Soft Pudding. This is the VSGL tournament, of course. So now we are 3-minute delay. So as I was talking about earlier, you have a double AP AoE team, but it's a little different because typically Janna is kind of a push away reset champion, which you typically will not see in a team like this. Although maybe they just want to go for, maybe they feel like that bottom lane is stronger, they're used to playing those characters more. And it's really hard to argue against Janna anyways because she is the best support character in the game. And even if she's not really doesn't fit the synergy of the AoE damage dealing, she's still good to reset a team fight or peel for a character like Ashe. Ashe, kind of more late game, but she can also, she's unique in that she can actually facilitate those ganks with her crystal arrow, which a lot of other champions do not have at all. I gotta turn off my Facebook too, because everybody, all about my business. What is this? I'm trying to cast the game. Jeez. Come on. Ruin my trains of thought. But anyways, yeah. So you have the initiation from Ashe, which is completely unique to any AD like her. No one else really has Crystal Arrow or that effectiveness on a map. So she fits the synergy of this team, with a Kennen and a Vlad perfectly. And I like that play. A support I would probably rather have than Janna for a team like this is either Alistar or, the old tried and true with this comp was Sona. Sona for a long time was considered OP because they're all, it's just so good. Riot has talked about it repeatedly that, that's the one mistake they made with that character, and they can't really get rid of it because completely essential and, it's a staple of her play. Removing it would basically change the character entirely to them. So they can't really get rid of that. So yeah, I mean, Janna kind of doesn't fit, but she can work because she's so good. She's just, you grab her because she's that good. I didn't get to see the order of the picks, so I don't necessarily know how these were all picked out. Nocturne, he can just be good. He deals so much damage. The AD bonus that he gets by standing on his pool, his Q, is pretty crazy, especially when you start leveling it up, and he can surprisingly deal a ton of damage on people that aren't used to it. Also, his ult is just so effective. You can remove vision, especially if you start stunning people when they spread out to try to avoid your AoEs. It's really good as well. You can protect your carry. You can peel for your carry essentially with it as well. It's gonna let him dive onto Kate and any AD carry that he wants to run onto, which is pretty good. And looking at, and I've talked a lot about their team because that's familiar. We kind of know that strategy. And looking over at VVV, we see them we typically don't see. We don't see a lot of Riven in the jungle. We typically see her top because she's been so good recently. But instead, Altex is going to be running top as Aurelia, which we saw a drop in her play. She was almost like, the 1B of the 1A picks for top lane for a while. And since then, she's dropped off and become sort of this, she doesn't sustain as well, so people have kind of stayed away from her. But she's still really, really good. A lot of my top solo friends that play her still, bring her out every now and then, still have success with her. So, still a really strong champ. Don't be scared away by that drop in her sustainability. You just have to play a little bit safer. She's not as overpowered as she used to be. And they're more running like, this is the type of team you run. There's no real deep synergy in this team. If anything, there's a lot of dashes and mobility. But Soraka's pretty good for mitigating some of that AoE damage that's going to come in. Exhaust on her is going to be actually key. Soraka's entire job is going to be to silence and to exhaust Kennen. When Kennen comes in, he needs to be exhausted. It takes a lot of front end damage off of Kennen's ult when he does come into a team fight. So that in team fights, that is something to look for. That will be absolutely key going forward. It looks like Janna is after my own heart. That is exactly the same summoner spells I run when I play Janna. I run heal, exhaust. You don't need flash on Janna. If you position correctly, you can ult and peel for your carry. You lose like the flash ult that can spread a team, but at the same time, that's a pretty messy method. Flash to me on Janna, if you're playing it correctly and in position, is kind of like a makeup move. It's like you only need it for your mistake. Instead, what you end up doing by foregoing flashes, you actually pick up an exhaust, you pick up a team heal, and instead of just having one or the other, you actually become really, really powerful in bottom lane. It's really tough to win trades if you're against that. The only problem in this case is that they're actually running Ashe, who's not as strong early, but it's still going to be really effective. The one thing they can do with Ashe, I think I was alluding to earlier, possibly when I was talking, is that Ashe can actually build up to have that 100% critical rating in the beginning, as we can see it, the crit chance tick up. And when she comes out, if you throw a bubble on her, get that little extra AD and crit someone, and throw your volley right after that, you can actually chunk your opponent very, very low. Now, they have a Soraka, so that won't be as effective because they will be able to sustain through it. But that costs a lot of mana for Soraka to heal, and it's only 60 health that she's going to heal. So, is a pretty effective strategy to look out for if you are against the Ashe Janna. Try to avoid getting near these bottom brush down here because that strategy is viable and will chunk you and put you behind right when you start the game. It looks like Soft Pudding's gearing up for red. And this is a pretty good strategy because what a lot of teams do is when they invade, they actually come up and around. You can actually see them as they cross right here typically because most teams don't hug this edge. So they actually would see average baddies if they were to come in. The other thing too is if they did come in on this, they're all sitting in the brush waiting for them. Again, you have that upfront burst damage I was just talking about with Ashe and Janna. So whatever target they pick is going to take a ton of damage up front, followed up by Nocturne, Kennen, the rest of the crew. It's going to be a hard time for them to deal with, and so that is a good strategy. Just everybody camping in a brush. If you don't have vision, don't have CV to spot that out and protect you as you come in, it could be a lot of trouble for an invading team. But no invades. Both teams are going to back off here. Be good, buddies. Tsunami's going to get blue first this time. It looked like, I believe last game when I was checking out, he might have been starting red. I can't really remember. I think they did invade. So this time they actually set up differently. And Vlad just waiting out here. I think he's letting his lane push. Now, a typical strategy for a lot of Aurelia players is they will actually not last hit these first few creeps, or they'll actually give up a few CS and let their lane push. And then what Aurelia players typically do is they freeze the turret outside, or freeze the wave outside their turret. The problem with that now is that she doesn't quite have the same amount of sustain, so she can't do it quite as effectively under harass. These are both two characters that are kind of weak early. Vlad has a little bit of advantage of the fact that he is ranged in this early set, but both of them are weak early. Vlad really hits his peak after he gets his revolver, hits his level 9, and gets that full sustain in lane. Then he's really hard to remove. Aurelia hits it a little bit early, so if she can flick on the switch at the correct time, maybe get a gank in here on Vlad, it will be really effective. Looks like Nocturne's coming up here with his double buff. And Tsunami's Riven's taking a lot of damage on this. He's probably going to have to go back after he clears this wave. So we see Nocturne waiting in the weeds here. He has all his abilities. Going to start off with the Fear. Flashes right at the tip. You need to flash a little bit earlier. To be caught out here, Ignite goes down, and that will be first blood for Soft Pudding. Good patience right there. A little bit too close to the brush. Now, a lot of Aurelia players, if you look at the top Aurelia players, wow, good cupcakes, we'll get back to that later, but a lot of the top Aurelia players, if you watch them play like Wicked, they'll actually camp up in this top brush early, and it just, it keeps your opponent guessing, it keeps them, they don't necessarily always know where you are in lane. It is a smart move instead of just, constantly showing yourself in lane, being down here where he was susceptible to the Nocturne ult. And actually this is really good for Altex. He's actually able to recover with that teleport, which is very, very important for him. He's not going to miss out on a lot of CS there, where it would have been a huge punishment. He would have lost about 1.5 waves if he didn't have that teleport trying to walk back after dying. So good for him there. Now this is great pressure down here for Team Average Baddies. They've placed these cupcake traps, so if they off-step just one little bit, they're going to take a lot of damage and punishment from Piltover, Peacemaker, and stuff like that. So good on them, and Caitlyn's going to be able to spam this Piltover Peacemaker for a long time. There's a lot I like this heavy pressure actually coming in here from Average Baddies. This is a very good look for them. Looks like Nocturne is going to come around here. He will be spotted though, so he's not going to get in here for free. Average Baddies responds appropriately. Looks like Tsunami is heading up top, but there is a ward here. Vlad's going to easily see that, back off. It looks like they're pinging for it, knowing that there is something Vlad reacted right away. Sometimes it is good to delay your reactions just a little bit to keep them guessing. Eventually they can be smart and figure it out, but if you jerk the instant you see anything on the map right there, then they know for sure there is a ward there. Now, a good response to that sometimes is when you go back, keep a mental note of where they're putting wards. I typically will place a pink ward right here to catch any of these wards you see down here, and you can actually clear it out, and it actually opens up the top 4 ganks. Now, if someone does that to you, if you notice that you're playing as a player that plays a pink ward, the counter to that is to actually place your ward further downriver, or you can place it in this tri-bush. Tri-bush not always guaranteed though, since they can't just come straight up river and then you're in trouble. So not as good. And looking at the CS here, 35 to 31. So Aurelia's keeping up her farm, even though she was killed early. Caitlyn at 40 CS, Ashe at 32. So Caitlyn getting a little bit of advantage. That's the advantage from pushing into this turret. You see this nice line of cupcake traps. Good shield by Janna right there. But the nice line of cupcake traps that makes it really, really hard to push out here. You have to be very careful with your movement. Again, punishment is key in that setup down lane, and just constantly keeping this pressure. They have this great warding going down here. One at Dragon, one right here at this tri-bush. I'd like a ward. Actually, has Ahri gone back yet? Ahri has not gone back yet, but I would like a ward right here, this advanced ward. Looks like Riven's going to come around behind. Kennen does have all, misses her charm. That is bad. She needs to save that for this engagement that we had right here. Now, something to point out is when you just go in and initiate on someone when Kennen was in the position he was in, it's a little bit harder to hit skill shots. Believe it or not, it's actually easier to hit people when they run away from you. Now, when people run away from you, if you know some players run away, or when Kennen runs away, he flashed away, and he flashed straight away, and then he ran up to curve here. You know he's going to take this linear path right there, and their movement becomes actually more predictable. It's easier to land the charm. It's better to wait for Riven to follow up with her stuns and slows, and Riven's going to come in here, get the stun on Vlad. Vlad's going to pull, he's going to be underneath the turret. Can they follow up with an ignite? And no, it looks like not. Hemoplay is going to go down, and this actually probably will get Tsunami. Oh, gets that little bit of shield off. Very smart move. No, it won't. So good job by Tsunami. Great dive there, and they're getting a little bit of advantage on top. Looks like Nocturne's going to come in here for a steal. Kennen's rotating over. Ahri has no help, so she's thinking about just getting her minions at her tower, and this will be a successful steal. This is very, very smart by Soft Pudding. I would like this ward stacked a little bit back farther to tight in here, just because you can actually get a little bit more vision around the corner, give you just that slight millisecond longer to react in case someone does come in and try to stop you, which is the main goal, especially when you are stealing. But overall, pretty good play. Pretty good play. We're seeing here the middle Ahri 42 versus Kennen's 52. So 52, Kennen doing a great job farming actually in this middle lane. You see Ahri's being very, very patient here. Just stopped moving, trying to last hit, not being having little failures there, but it happens. I would probably look a lot worse. Although Ahri has a pretty good attack animation. Any Rise players out there, if you play Rise player, I harp on this all the time, but it looks like a lightning bolt. It's actually, he throws wet noodles for his auto attack. That's why they're so slow and stupid. Literally drive me crazy. But a lot of good players, if you get used to it, you can last hit with wet noodles too. It's possible. But characters like Ahri, Victor, LeBlanc, who has an amazing attack animation, are really easy to last hit with, and I like them. So right now, pretty even farming for Soft Pudding. You see a lot of members are up around 50. Outstanding member is Aurelia up top of 65. Caitlyn just about to round the 60 mark. But overall farm pretty even, and you can see from the team gold here, they're absolutely dead even. 10.7 to 10.7k, just battling back and forth. Just a little bit, 1 kill all. First blood actually going to Soft Pudding, but a good comeback kill onto top against Vlad by Aurelia. And as I talked about earlier, you see here's this level advantage until, Vlad has some good sustain, but Aurelia has a better time until Vlad hits 9. And Vlad does not have his revolver yet. He's just short. So next time he goes back, he's going to finish up the revolver. He'll probably be level 9, and then you'll see a better matchup here for him top, where he's not losing out in a little bit of the trades. Still the trades at this point, even a little bit even. And we're going to see some sneaky action by Nocturne sneaking up here. But the vision, the cupcake track, that is money. That is actually going to give away Nocturne coming in on this. And great move actually there. Gets that cupcake trap off. Actually misstep, really, by Janna. But, it does happen. It's hard to see those cupcake traps in beneath that brush. So, what you saw there from Janet, she actually landed her Zephyr. Zephyr does give up some safety when you throw it out there because you do lose that movement speed buff, but what it allows you to do is it allows you to initiate. If they decide to go in or initiate on to Caitlyn, the best combo to do when you are playing Janna actually is to land Zephyr first and then follow up with Howling Gale. If you land the Zephyr first, the slow basically means that you're more likely to land your Howling Gale, which is why you would do it first. Tsunami wants a gank, but he's actually sitting over a ward, so he's not going to get it here. I'd like to see him maybe, Riven's kind of a character that really wants to scale with items. You see his triple Doran's Blade right there. So he doesn't want to have to go for other items, and so he'll be especially punished if he doesn't. But Oracles right now wouldn't be too bad. It'd open up a lot of ganking lanes, give him a lot of map control, and possibly open up another chance for Dragon. But this bottom lane, I have to hand to Ash. She has 73 CS, so she's hanging in there in CS, but definitely getting bullied around by this bottom lane. It doesn't really matter, though, because Ash late game is arguably more useful than a Caitlyn. It looks like Tsunami might come down their lane and return the favor like Nocturne wanted to do earlier, although they're not going to have vision of this coming in, which is pretty nice for them. Nocturne heading down towards blue, maybe timing it out, and Riven trying to be patient here. After this wave is cleared, maybe they'll think about it. The problem is there's not a lot of incentive to come out here with these cupcake traps, so I don't know if he's going to get rewarded with a payoff there. And there's that pink ward I was talking about earlier right there. Pretty smart play. I like that. That position is pretty good actually, because you could actually walk, it might be better than what I was thinking, because I think you could probably catch one of the lower wards and you could walk into this brush and maybe catch a ward in the brush. So, maybe I like that position better than my position, to be honest. And now he has this covered, has this tri-brush covered. There's no real way to get in there, although, to be fair, Nocturne is one of those champions that is hard to actually ward out, because as he gets more levels of his ult, he gets a longer range on it, so he can come outside of the ult range and come from weird angles. And you see right there, really quick vision control and movement, and bang, bam, boom, average bad is going to pick up a dragon, and that is really good for them. Janna's going to ward it, and that ward, I don't know, she should know that everybody coming back to lane, that dragon just went down, it was just stolen. This ward it here, it's sort of good, because, like, for example, they can see Riven right here. But for the most part, if you place this ward right after Dragon, it's only 3 minutes. Dragon takes 6 minutes to come back. That ward's going to be dead 3 minutes before Dragon comes back up. And maybe it'll be a reminder for you to go ward again, but really it's kind of a dead ward, because Riven could come up back through their jungle and come around through their tri-brush and be just as effective. Not necessarily the best ward, but it's gonna do its job at least a little bit. Already has that blue buff, is low on mana. Now the nice thing for Nocturne is that both of his APs do not want blue. So the synergy for Nocturne here is that he's going to be able to get blue a bunch and be able to use that to synergize with his ult, get that cooldown on his ult, which he really, really wants. Plus the bonus for any jungler in this setup with a Kennen and a Vlad is that since you get the blues, you get the full experience for the buff. You're not giving up the golem, so you actually level up quicker, which for a character like Nocturne is really key. He gets to hit 6 earlier, gets his levels quicker, and that's what he wants, because Nocturne is really one of those level 6 gankers. And Vlad's going to face check this. He's going to eat a stun right off the bat. He's going to put down to about half health. And my question to him is, does he have Tides of Blood stacking? Because the thing for Vlad is you have to constantly be stacking Tides of Blood. It takes damage, but it gives you more health regen, and especially for fights and team fights. And ooh, wow, if we land a charm here, we'll be really close to death, and throws it too early. Maybe Han doesn't own LoL. Maybe you should play more LoL, and then you can land the skill shot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just giving him some crap. It happens. I miss skill shots too. We all do. It's alright. He's anticipating a movement forward, but this Vlad's been pretty stoic with his play. He's actually been using a lot of stop movement, so could have been thrown off, could throw off any player. Kennen coming down now. They should see us, and they should beat feet really quickly, but excellent Ash Arrow is going to catch him out there. Slicing Maelstrom comes in. Sun's going down. Caitlyn just barely caught, but heals are coming in, and they're going to be perfectly fine after this. And in response, Riven rotating mid. They might put pressure on this turret and try to take it down. Nocturne actually caught out here. Jump in and wind slash. Beautiful play, and they actually crush him mid, and Tsunami's going to eat a few hits from that turret. He's going to shield himself and dash out, and now the pressure's actually back on bot. Kennen had to go back. Now, what did Kennen buy? Is he finished? Yeah, he has his wind elevations. He's coming out with a Negatron cloak and to mitigate some of that damage from Ahri. Not too bad of an idea. Vlad, now level 11, has that revolver like we were talking about earlier, has his sword shield, is going to do a little bit more damage. That is pretty nice. Looking at 80 items, BF sword for Caitlyn. Ashe has went for the level 2 boots early, basically has the same items except for a Vampire Scepter. She's buying now. How much gold does she have? She has about 1,200 gold, so she's short. She can't actually buy a BF sword straight up. Looks like she's going to buy nothing else. Just come back to lane. Nocturne following her up here as well. Right now you can see average baddies with about a 2k lead coming out here. Soft Pudding did have a slight lead early, but they've kind of fallen off now. Average baddies have been able to pick up a dragon and some kills, so looking very, very strong. Again, still a very even game. This teamfight comp, they're not too far behind. So, I mean, Soft Pudding, they're not behind at all, so they're still getting their items. It's slightly worrisome that some of them are going mitigation this early, which I guess they feel like they have to do because they are a little bit behind in their lanes, pressure-wise. But overall, they're still strong. They're keeping up in levels. They're keeping up in gold as a team, and their team is better for team fighting currently right now. So they still have a great chance of actually winning this game and engagements. It was actually a pretty studly move by average baddies to actually pick off that dragon so stealthily because they are at a disadvantage in the team fights, although Vlad is top, so unless Vlad has a teleport, which he doesn't, and he's not down for that fight, they only have to worry about Kennen. Again, Soraka with that exhaust will be key as we go forward. Ashe's Crystal Arrow is online. We have all ults online, actually, for Soft Pudding, so they are ready for any team fight that is going to befall them. Dragon will be up soon. Great pink ward, actually, by Soft Pudding. We saw that placed earlier, prepping for Dragon. And Riven now actually clearing out a ward. And, this is good warding right here. I like this. I like these pink wards top. Probably need to refocus onto bottom lane or to Dragon, since that will be up shortly. Looks like Caitlyn and Soraka have gone back. They've bought up prepping for Dragon, so that's actually a smart move. They were actually seeing from them bottom. They've said, hey, we have Dragon timer. Dragon's going to be up soon. Let's go back and buy our items now. So when we start the Dragon fight, we're at full effect. And Aurelia getting dove here. Great flash out. Actually, Hemoplay's going to fall off. Going to be a little bit low. The chase is going to be in, but Ahri's going to come back in. The turnaround is on. Nocturne almost blown up right away, and the execute on Vlad coming around now, but will Aurelia die if she tries to go in on this? And there is the dive. Ballsy move, gonna pick it up. Slicing Maelstrom coming in, getting punished. Charm, focusing on Ahri. Ahri gonna flash out of this with the Ignite, misses a Shuriken, which is so key to getting kills. Riven, Tsunami trying to get on him. He's gonna Lightning Surge out of this, probably get away. And pretty clutch play right there. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Ahri, Hans owns Lowell, just pulling out there with his, his Han-like, micromanagement skills. It's clearly what pulled him out right there. Didn't help him with the skill shots, but, his micromanagement skills, positioned him, let him flash. Good reactions. And right now, Average Bad is going to set up for another dragon. They place a normal ward, so they should know that they're under vision, but a lot of ults were just actually popped for Soft Pudding, so that's going to reduce a lot of their effectiveness in fighting over this dragon. And Nocturne did not steal it, so we're still good. That would have been unfortunate. Nocturne trying to sneak in there, possibly get a pull off a pick, and they're going for not a lot of Oracle play, but a lot of pink ward play in key locations. They're always picking up wards for it. Now, frankly, this pink ward, so we see this pink ward, it gained them vision, but what did this pink ward do? This pink ward actually didn't give them Dragon, and they didn't even remove a ward from it yet. This pink ward probably doesn't have a lot of time left on it. If you're going to place this pink ward, you have to be ready for the Dragon timer. Again, they saw the signs, like I said earlier, of average baddies going back to lane. You can come up with you can talk to your team, come up with a Dragon timer in your heads, guesstimate, and then prepare for Dragon. And if they would have brought everybody down, cleared out the wards, maintained the vision, as we see the ward just fall, they had a chance to actually fight over it, because their team actually is